Now Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are beefing once again. After Cardi B dropped her recent album, fans started pointing out that some of Nicki's posts online look like they might have been aimed at Cardi. And of course, that immediately reignited their feud, especially after Cardi B fired back. This time, the beef has gotten so nasty that they've even started dragging each other's kids into it. It all started about a week ago when Cardi B dropped her album, Am I the Drama? Shortly after, Nicki put up a few tweets that many people thought were shots at Cardi B's album. And that's when Cardi responded with a message directly aimed at Nicki saying, "Why do you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag you think it is. You've been in the game for 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers from your era. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, and Drake. Those are the numbers you should be competing with. You can't because you're doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. Why are you even comparing yourself to me for?" From there, the back and forth really kicked off with both Nicki and Cardi trading insults on Twitter. And as usual with these two, things escalated quickly and it got pretty nasty. So, let's take a look at some of these tweets. Cardi B went on X, formerly known as Twitter, and put up a few posts where she said things like, "You must have missed me here? Crazy. Now kiss my feet. Nothing is more annoying than being bored. The power I have makes these come out of rehab every time. Go to your room. Cocaine Barbie." This was a response to some of the things Nicki had been allegedly saying about Cardi B's album. And it looks like Nicki had been listening to and dissecting Cardi B's music and performance numbers. And Cardi definitely took notice. Now, I want to take a look at some of these more explosive tweets because this is where the situation really started to spiral. One of the tweets from Cardi B said, "Alright, now this is the third time talking about my pregnancy. Like he wasn't going to different fertility doctors because you couldn't reproduce from all those perks scrambling your eggs. Not allegedly. Lord, protect my babies." And things kept on getting worse with both sides bringing up personal issues and family. Nicki responded with a long thread of her own. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but to give you context, she basically denied ever having fertility issues, mocked Cardi B with the Barney B nickname, brought up personal allegations about Cardi B's relationships, and even threatened to release supposed medical records, and she closed by saying this. "Also, let me say this though. I've never had fertility issues. It's not something to be used as a drag until you know the women who are actually living that pain, blaming themselves. We can only imagine and pray for them, love them, uplift them, and not use these women as a punchline." So, in the middle of all the insults, Nicki also made a point about how fertility shouldn't be used as a weapon in arguments. And then this is when we get to the part one don't really like, which is kids being dragged into the beef. I'm not really a fan of that at all, but obviously both of them decided to take it there. And personally, I don't really think it matters who started it. I think they both know exactly what they're doing. Cardi B started by saying, "Girl, it's your son's birthday. Why are you on Twitter dedicating essays to me? For the love of God, go to Chuck E. Cheese." In response, Nicki mentioned Cardi B's daughter, Culture, in a tweet where she said, "Culture vulture, you ugly too." And then Cardi B fired back with one of the most viral tweets of this whole exchange. She wrote, "Papa Bear," which is a nickname for Nicki's child. "I'm sorry you can't speak and are banging spoons because your mom couldn't put the drugs down. I'm sorry your mom is not even paying attention to you on your own birthday because she's such an obsessed and dark-spirited hinny-ho. I'm sorry." Nicki then escalated by saying, "Culture. You're a roach and a monkey like your sister." At this point, things were way beyond anything that you could ever go back from, right? It turned into very personal insults about each other's kids. And in my opinion, that's where it completely crossed the line. But then again, there's no line in a situation like this. And I think a big part of the reason why so many people are paying attention to this particular beef is cause it does get to a point like this. After that, Cardi B completely snapped and went on one of the harshest rants of the whole back. She accused Nicki of having trauma from her own father, saying, "Babe, you've been having stains in your mouth since you were a minor because your daddy used to molest you. Damn. Tell the world. That's why you wake up so miserable because you hurt and are full of trauma and are trying to apply it to everybody. Eland, why you keep bringing up Rock Nation? I'm not even signed to them. You delusional, paranoid coke-sniffing." And then Cardi B after this continued with another extremely vicious tweet. "You said __ vulture. What? That slow son that came out of Yoru were wishing so much negativity on me while I was pregnant. And look at your karma. Look what your rotten puss produced. Now he's a whole 5-year-old who tiptoes around the house and can't spell his name. Damn. So right now it's obviously not about no music, no album. This turned into a straight-up personal destruction, the lowest of the low. And honestly, that's why I said earlier that once kids get brought into it, the whole situation crosses the line. But then again, like I said, there's really no line in a situation like this. Now, there are some other posts as well, but honestly, we're way past gossip territory right now. And I'll be completely honest with you. This is not my fault since I like to have intelligent conversations and break things down in a way that makes sense. But this situation right here is obviously far from logical. None of it really makes sense. These are two women who really don't like each other. I emphasize women because when women are beefing, they tend to get super catty because guys are like, you know what? Let's fight it out and let's leave it in the ring. But women, they're very good at breaking each other down with words. And that's exactly what's going on here. For anyone familiar with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, you already know that this isn't new. These two women have been going at it for years. And Cardi B actually used to be a huge Nicki Minaj fan before she became a rapper, even saying on multiple occasions that she adored Nicki a lot. But once Cardi B got her own momentum, things changed. The industry saw an opportunity to market her as competition to Nicki. Because at that point, and honestly still today, there wasn't another female rapper on Nicki's level. Now, my personal theory on why Cardi blew up the way she did is that the industry wanted to open the door for more marketable personalities, even if they weren't as talented musically. That way, they could push looks, social media presence, fury, and personality-driven branding, which makes the industry more money in the long run. Now, on the other hand, for Nicki Minaj, she's always been one of those artists who feels bigger than life. She was born to rap, born to perform, and she fought her way up in an era where artists didn't have all the tools that exist today. Her success feels more earned through talent and resilience. But when it comes to Cardi B, things are completely different for her. Her success has kind of been more generated through social media hype. Although I'm not the biggest fan of her music, I do respect her hustle. She's extremely resourceful. She's business-minded and she knows how to stay relevant, but I don't think she could be put in the same conversation as a Nicki Minaj when it comes to artistry. Deep down, I think she knows that she's never going to get the same respect as Nicki simply because there are levels to the craft of making music. Now to Cardi B is right. Cardi B is a huge brand with a machine fully behind her. But respect can't be bought. It can only be earned. And that's why Nicki's career looks different. A lot of people may not like Nicki Minaj, but at the same time she's never really been industry-friendly. She doesn't benefit the machine the same way a Cardi B does. That's part of the reason why despite being nominated multiple times, Nicki has never won a Grammy. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy theory that she hasn't won. But it is very strange considering her accolades and accomplishments in the music industry. So, one could question why exactly she hasn't won a single Grammy. Some people might point towards her abrasive personality, but at the same time there are a lot of artists in the music industry who are not particularly liked even by the music industry itself. And they've got Grammys and other awards for the work that they've put in. Meanwhile, Cardi B got a Grammy just 2 years into her mainstream run with Invasion of Privacy. But Cardi B is right. She did break some records with that particular album, and she did make a lot of impact when she came out during that time. Now, when it comes to this back and forth between Nicki and Cardi, let's be real, the beef is lucrative. Everything is about garnering attention in general because that attention means eyeballs, which means potential sales. It keeps both of them in the headlines. It keeps fans talking and it fuels engagement. In a way, the feud obviously benefits both sides. That said, I don't necessarily agree with how either of them is handling this ordeal, especially with children being dragged into it. That's a line I don't think should ever be crossed. And honestly, it doesn't even matter who really started at this time. I don't personally think so because at this point it feels like both of them know exactly how to push each other's buttons and they're willing to take it there. At the end of the day, I think all this is just entertainment. And being completely honest with you, I'm starting to suspect that part of this might actually be set up somehow. I'm not saying for sure, but it feels too convenient sometimes because we all know when Nicki drops an album, it's going to be some type of drama that follows. These beefs keep both of them in the spotlight. And whether we like it or not, that attention turns into streams, headlines, and money. On the other end, I don't personally think the hate itself is generated. It does seem to come from a very real place, especially considering what both of them said. I personally don't ever see this beef not being a thing. There's a lot of politics that come into play behind the scenes when it comes to the issues that Nicki and Cardi have with each other. So, I think there are a lot of people behind the scenes who are very invested in seeing both of these women going at each other. Nicki and Cardi B are beefing once again, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say about this particular beef right here. I'm pretty sure that I might have gotten the timeline of some of these tweets wrong. That being said, overall, I just wanted to focus on a beef and the issues that both of these women have with each other. You'll let me know in the comments section below what you think about this. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.